trying to piece together a concise biography of Voltaire, I could come up with nothing better than this entry in William Denslow's 10,000 Famous Freemasons. Voltaire gained fame as the defender of victims of religious intolerance and as a master of satire. This won him the condemnation of the established church, who labeled him an atheist and who still ban his books to this day. He was educated under the Jesuits and began writing at an early age. He was confined to the Bastille in 1717 to 1718 and again in 1726, but made good use of his time by writing. Banished to England, he wrote his observations on English social and political institutions, which caused such an uproar that he was forced to seek seclusion in Lorraine. In 1750, he accepted an invitation to visit Frederick the Great, a Freemason, at the Prussian court, where he produced his greatest historical work, The Age of Louis XIV. He quarreled with Frederick, left Prussia in 1753, and spent his last 20 years near Geneva. He was initiated into Freemasonry on April 7, 1778, less than 2 months before his death. The event took place at Paris in the Lodge of the Nine Sisters. The ceremony was conducted by the celebrated French astronomer Joseph Lalande. Voltaire entered the lodge escorted by Benjamin Franklin, the American ambassador. It is recorded that the scene was one of unusual brilliance. Owing to Voltaire's age, distinction, and disability, the usual preparations were dispensed with. Despite the charges of the established church, Voltaire was a deist rather than an atheist. At his own expense, he erected a church on his estate and dedicated it to God. One of his most quoted statements is, "If God did not exist, it would be necessary to invent him." The fact that he became a Freemason is conclusive proof to all members of the craft that he believed in deity. He died May 30th, 1778, at the age of 83. It has been reported his last words were, "I die adoring God, loving my friends, not hating my enemies, and detesting superstition." However, that is actually something he wrote. There is a different account of his last words, or at least an incident, that occurred while he was on his deathbed. A priest visited Voltaire while he was dying and urged him to renounce Satan while he still could. Voltaire refused, replying, "My good man, this is no time to make enemies." For the Whence Came You podcast, this is Steve Harrison with the Masonic Minute.